Where'd you go, Rebecca?
Starting well. Where have you gone?
Oh, she's here. Well, while we're waiting for you, Bex, welcome to the podcast. Have we got a name?
Gee, I don't know. Let's call it, I don't know, chewing the fat probably doesn't, it's an old school term. You don't want to say that now, do you? What do you want to say? What do you want to call it?
Can we just like third wheel?
Good life's third wheel.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, for the listeners, the intent here is to be a fly on the wall, peek behind the curtain of all the craziness that happens in the Connetts and Jack's DMs, really.
I don't know if what we're recording is ever going to see the light of day.
Well, I hope it does.
But we're recording it just in
20 years' time. We were so crazy.
So I've cajoled you into doing this, but we haven't really done much prep. So
I've got the name.
We've done no prep.
You got a name for those listening? Good third wheel life. Yeah.
Good third wheel life.
Welcome to my life. My life.
A terrible name. Okay, it's fun. Let's find a different one.
What? Like I said, I've really just cornered you guys into this. But what's the reason for us doing a podcast in your mind?
We both breathe in at the same time. I'll let you go. Preferring one another in love.
You have lots of things to say, but correct. It's been Jack. You've been the driver behind it, so I'd actually like to hear from you first.
Ooh, great delegation.
But I asked the question first.
He did. Right, I'm going to go then, seeing as though you're both all balking and I actually have something to say. The living the good life. Now, we call our church that not just because it was a marketable name, because it would actually represented what we want people to live. Like, if you live the complete good life that God has got for you, there's no better place. It's going to be stretching. It's going to be adventurous. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be growing. It's a faith journey, and faith makes steps that put you between a rock and a hard place. And you need Jesus. So even when Jesus said, "Follow me, I'll make you fishers of men," that whole thought of following equals fishing. And if I'm not fishing, I'm not following. I need Christ at every point. I need Christ in that situation. I need his confidence, his strength, his wisdom, all that sort of stuff. And so to do that life needs consistent input, needs getting the right input. And we wanted to make sure that anyone who wanted to live the good life, whether you're a member of a Good Life church campus or someone who just goes, I like the thought of that, I need the input to continue that journey.
Right.
Because I think there's got to be a balance on that journey of it's faith, but I don't think that faith always takes itself seriously. Like, you take God seriously, you take the call of God seriously, but not yourself, which is actually one of the things we say at Good Life Church. So I think it's the understanding of you want to enjoy life and you want to enjoy team. And us three, we've been doing this journey with a bunch of others over the years for an extended period of time and actually enjoying the journey and going, how do we live healthy lives, which includes marriages, friendships, partnerships in the kingdom of God, finances, physical health, raising kids, raising grandkids.
Hey. Have you got a name yet? Like, as in for you both? Is it Granny and Grumpy or?
So being currently expected 12 weeks off being we are grandparents now because there is a life and life starts at conception.
I'm sure we'll talk about that.
We can tackle that one. So we are grandparents right now. We just haven't met the young one. So you've got a name.
I've got a name. Dave hasn't settled on a name yet.
No, I haven't.
But I think I'm gonna be Gigi.
Because the other grandparent for
she's possibly changing her mind on that.
Well, her name's Fiona, so she was going to be called Fifi,
and
this
is
going to be Gigi.
Fifi and Gigi would be so fun for the two grandma names. But she's wondering if she wants to be a bit more like traditional, like be an actual grandma.
Right. So not a trad wife, just a trad grandma.
Trad granny.
Trad gran.
We shall call her grandmother.
Actually, you were you launched on this all your thoughts before, but I'm just going to interrupt you.
Please.
Speaking of,
I'm used to it.
He actually did call his grandfather.
Yes.
Right.
That's what they called him. They called him grandfather.
I only had one living.
In my life heard someone call their grandparent grandfather.
Yeah, right. Well, I got a story on that. My dad, his grandfather was to be called grandfather.
Yeah.
in the same way. But what you'd probably find out is toddlers really struggle saying grandfather, and he ended up being called Fardy. That was his name, Fardy. So there you go. There's another option.
Fardy by name, Fardy by nature.
Yes.
So I'm toying with, part for the fact that I'm going to get good reactions out of not so much my daughter-in-law, because she
rolls with everything.
She rolls. She gives it and takes it as really, really well. But my 21-year-old son is still quite serious most of the time. And so if I am to say, Sam, I'm going for a creative name, I'm thinking either Optimus Prime or Deathblade. And so he's like, why would you do that? Because I saw it on a meme. Could you imagine the kids in grade 2 be like, they're telling their friends, what are you up to the weekend? What are you up to? I'm off to Deathblade's house. Like, that would be absolutely epic. So I'm telling that to Sam, and Sam gave me great reaction. So I'm like, I'm just reeling him in every single time. Dad, you can't. I'm going to tell him, no, you can't say that. I'm said, Sam, as an ex-youth pastor, how do you think I go at shaping young minds? And I don't think I'll go with it, but I'm certainly telling Sam every single time that that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, right.
Do you have another option actually in your head?
I think she's going to be Granddad.
I like Poppy. I think it should be Poppy.
Well, Joel's nickname is Pops. I just don't know if it rolls.
No, it might not roll.
For some reason it was Jolie Pops. So I don't think
we're not going to be calling Joel Pops when he's 30, are we? Or maybe.
Big Eagle.
We do call him Pops most days. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, so the rationale behind this for me was probably twofold. I realised that, I have mostly unfettered access to you guys and have done for the best part of 15 years, and that's quite a privileged position. Are we allowed to use the P word on this podcast?
Yes.
Yes, we make the rules.
No
swearing. As long as you state your privilege.
Right. There will be rules later on, because I love some rules, and I've got some good rules that you'll struggle with, Dave. I think.
Like the rules.
Why are you giving me rules? That's just.
No, I think we should have a 2-minute rule, because you're a preacher, and otherwise you'll just rant the whole time.
That's actually true.
And so we'll have a 2-minute rule, like a timer, and I'll have to mute you. Or we'll have a signal.
Oh. Do you listen to Hamish and Andy? They have
from time to time. I'm quite sanctified, Bex, but tell us, please.
You're sanctified.
They have a little hotel bell, those little...
Yeah, ding.
And anytime they're sick of a conversation, ding, 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 and they have to stop. It's the rule. They do.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Ring the bell.
I like it. I could imagine people driving or listening to this on their way to work or running and like frantically pressing their ears trying to stop one of us. But anyway, so I've had unfettered access for a long time.
We should do a poll. If we've got to get somewhere down the track to do a poll on who gets the most private dings. How many listeners ding 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 on Bex,
right,
on Jack, and on Dave?
Do you really want to know the
I think it's more about who comes second and third will be the real challenge. So that access has for listeners. I'll just talk to the listeners, and you guys can sort yourselves out. That's been formational for me, and the other part I was thinking about was that most people, on average, would probably consume about 3 hours a day worth of content, right? Between Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, social media, Netflix.
Tell me this is not going for 3 hours.
This is not going for 3 hours. We'll be done shortly. I've got a sleeping baby somewhere to tend to. Hopefully still sleeping. I don't know. We'll find out if he toddles his way in. So most people would consume about 3 hours a day of content, and therefore about 100 hours per month. And so, I've heard it said somewhere that the question is not, are you being formed? But we are all being formed into something, or hopefully someone.
Yes.
And what is contributing to that formation? And so if people are consuming 100 hours a month of stuff, right? And then you think about, now I hope that the people listening to this are more than just the average. But if the average good lifer perhaps attends church once a fortnight, right? We would hope that it'd be 1 or 2 services a week, but the reality is for some people it might be once a fortnight. Mm-hmm. That's twice a month. And what's the chances that on those 2 services a month people are attending, that either or neither of you guys particularly are speaking into? Maybe you're at Toronto, maybe it's your week to be rostered off, maybe you're at Newcastle for the Toronto folks, etc.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if people come to church twice a month and you're only preaching once a month, people are hearing from their senior pastors less than an hour per month
Mm.
out of the 100 hours that is forming them.
Yeah.
And how on earth can people be formed into the image of God, the likeness of Christ, to understand the apostles' doctrine? What is it that makes Good Life Church distinctive? What is it that makes you guys the mother and father of our house? How on earth are they supposed to be formed into that image when we're participating in less than 1% of their formation? And so my hope is that we can be in the ears and in the streams of Goodlifers. I'm not interested at all in this podcast, going viral and reaching thousands or the masses, but I'm interested in developing the character and Christ likeness of the people who call Good Life Church home. That would be my heart for this, and that hopefully I can perhaps extract some of the gold, some of the silliness, some of the insights out of you and out of us collectively that would contribute to the formation of Goodlifers. That's my hope. Does that make sense?
That's so good.
100%. Two things. One is a comment on what you've just said, and the next is a question for you. Number one, it would be that when it's not Dave and Bex doing the preaching at a Good Life service, that it's still significantly assisting on the formation of every Good Lifer. I'm hoping the other preaching team do a good job, and we try to train that way with manner, matter, and method, with the content and the spirit that comes with it. So that said, the other preachers at Good Life, they're not quite as good as us, but anyway. It's passable.
What are you talking about? But anyway.
Mate, yeah, you do okay.
Oh, right. Actually, I got cut off the preaching roster this week. Alison sent me a message, said you've been dropped from something. I said, why? She said, take it up with Dave. So maybe there's something in there.
I think I took it.
Continue.
I don't know.
It was me. I took it.
Right. Chopped from the rosters.
Listen to the boss. Suck it up, princess. So here's
Alison
the next.
said it's because I'm becoming too Catholic, but that's another story.
Well,
I told her to say that.
We'll address that in the upcoming podcast.
Your navigation of the your navigation of the, I suppose, the purpose, the seriousness of the call, and also the navigation of the, you just said silliness. I would like to call it whimsy, because I've been reading Bob Goff recently. How do you do that navigation? Because we're talking serious matters, and some people can get really boring and staid dealing with serious matters, but obviously at Good Life Church, there's not much of a chance of that. You have done well to navigate that, because sometimes the serious matters are actually just difficult matters. Like, we do deal with some pretty tough parts of life, because there's a lot of people that we are shepherding, leading, overseeing, directing, and living within community. But also we make sure we have a fair bit of fun, and there's not always all right, stop, I have a joke now. Like, it just flows naturally in and out. Is that natural for you, or have you just learned to bounce with it?
So my reflections on something like that, I've been thinking about this a bit recently, actually, is that the most natural state is for it to be fluid and bouncy. And I think when we sometimes box ourselves in with beliefs, or as in, like, I'm a serious melancholic, introverted, type character, high on or low on openness and low on agreeability and all the big five oceans personality types. And so therefore, if I box myself into that, hey?
Sorry, low on agreeability. I'm not going to say anything. Keep going.
You're not allowed to self-censor either. That's another rule.
Great, good rule.
Self-censor.
You just self-censored yourself, Bex.
No, I feel like low on agreeability says it all. There's nothing that needs to be added to that. So you can continue.
Oh, right. Okay, sure. So I think our truest state, some of the most difficult, challenging, tough conversations are the most joy-filled conversations, because they're kingdom, like they're eternal. And what is more joyful than things of eternal weight, at the risk of making it a little bit too deep? So I think I've had to come to that realization that the fun and the joy and the lightness, the whimsicality, if you will, is the greatest privilege to participate in. It doesn't all have to be serious, nor does it all have to be, funny.
Right.
But across both those. And so therefore that's my truest self. That's the self that God's really made me and intended to be. And to be anything other than that is probably selfishness playing up. It's my flesh desiring what it wants rather than participating in things of kingdom nature.
Yeah.
I think also it's interesting how God puts you with the people you need around you. Like there's no accident, because I'm similar personality to you, right? So kind of I tend to be serious and melancholy for sure, etc. And then I'm married to this guy. And
but sometimes you say,
here we go.
You made a decision as a young person, you didn't know what you're getting, and now you're trapped.
I was tricked and now it's too late.
Yeah,
I know.
do you actually believe that?
Yeah.
Because I start to feel insecure.
Yeah, no, I do.
She's just playing the trad wife thing out. But anyway.
I have two lines. I say I was tricked and now it's too late, or I say it was a mercy mission. Someone had to do it. Anyway.
No wonder I have an insecurity problem.
Can I finish my thought?
You're not supposed to say that publicly, Dave. Continue, Bex.
I had.
I was going to compliment you. No,
Please,
I don't want
please.
to. No, I don't want to. No. So, you know, I think it's no accident that you two have become good mates. How do I point this like that way? When you're actually so ridiculously different. And same with us. Like, I think God knew that I needed someone who was going to make me laugh, because I do tend to take myself too seriously. So, and also someone needs to balance him out a little bit. So I think that's actually no accident, because, you know, all our different strengths and weaknesses actually work together, and that's the beauty of community, and that's why God said it's not good for man to be alone, right?
Yeah, but it becomes difficult because the person opposite you is the one that you need on that journey, but it's not easy to work out what that partnership looks like. So it's and I have to work out in serious situations. My problem is my wheels are spinning so quickly all the time, and everything is always serious and everything is always a joke. There's a million jokes going through my brain,
the same time.
And I have to corral the squirrels to go, no, and I have to line up a gun and shoot those squirrels down, or go, no, you can wait and let's see if we get to that joke. But also I've got to watch it, because serious people can't handle jokes, everything to be funny all the time. And I don't mind seamlessly skipping in and out and coming straight back into serious. There's no, like, here it is. We're doing it's that we're able to do that seamlessly, but I have to actually serve others by not being what they would deem a clown.
Right.
I've got to make sure, or I can't actually, they won't actually trust me or respect me to actually tackle serious matters.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think it's understanding of each other and working out how we best serve relationships and serve the greater good of the kingdom.
Yeah, I like it. And I think we'll get more into I'm really interested to press into the role of comedy, and though probably joking around comes naturally to you, Dave, I think there's a strong case for employing humour and comedy in some of the darkest of times, and also to make points and get it across. Speaking of, what else do you foresee us covering, or how do you see us tackling different topics and issues over the coming episodes?
I think it's going to be different. Like, I think you'll probably get a different flavour, because when there's the three of us is different from when it's just two of you or the two of us. Right. There'll be times when it'll be, you know, Dave and Jack and I won't be around, or Dave and not Dave, me and Jack and Dave not around. I think you will probably find quite different flavours in those various podcasts, and probably covering different topics as well, because of just different interests that we all share. But I think covering, you know, even going into what does Scripture say about various things. I'm always up for that kind of chat.
I love how we wrestle through scriptures and doctrine and content, like how we and so what happens on a Sunday at Good Life actually comes out of these discussions, where we deeply go, what's society doing? What's the Word of God say? What does church history tell us? Where have people made mistakes previously that we want to avoid? Yeah. Have people made the right calls previously that we want to walk into?
Yeah, and those wrestles are a mix of...
And then what's God calling us to do? They're great conversations. And then it plays out on a Sunday, like, because you have to present to communicate to people there for the first time, and people are there in their 30th year. So you communicate wide and broad, but the back end of the discussion and the research is actually quite rich.
Yeah, and then it has pastoral impact, right? So we're talking, like you said, we might be talking theology, scripture, church history, all those things, and ties it in with a pastoral shepherding care for our people, right?
Yeah.
So I think so in answer to your question, we want to cover. Look, how about we put it this way? Why don't we cover the stuff that's on our mind and on our hearts, and what things we're thinking about and what we're wrestling with? Because chances are that's also going to be stuff that other people are thinking about and wrestling with, and also from a pastoral perspective, what we're looking at for Good Life Church.
My thought with that is, if we're talking about how's the formation, like these concepts, like if people are forming their life, they're actually having input, then probably talking through what the input that we have and how we wrestled with the difficult. Right. Like I sat down this week with a young adult who said they were just blown away. They met with a Christian who said, I believe that abortion is murder, which they were fine with because that person believes it as well. Every life is valuable and the most vulnerable is worthy of our defense. But this Christian said, I believe that people should have access to that. So I would vote for
abortion.
I would vote to give access to abortion. And that person was like, that's mental. And I'm like, okay, walk this through, chill out your emotions. Now let's talk through the logic and then how to communicate to someone to get them to actually think again. Like, I think that differently. And so this person was wanting to start a fight. I'm like, fighting is not going to help you and it's not going to help them. And they'll never listen to you again if you start that fight. So they're having to wrestle through the difficult discussions is how do I know what's right?
Right.
But then wisdom is how do I apply that and how do I share that and how do I communicate that to a certain audience and how patient am I going to be with that audience?
And I think given the three different, spheres that we dabble in, there'll be some really interesting, crossover of our different worlds. Dave, you're probably having a lot of those pastoral conversations. Bex, with your insight, knowledge behind the scenes, and in my work life and contributions to Good Life, there'll be some interesting examples to pull out. And I know that a lot of our DMs are full of what's happening in society and culture and memes and picking apart what happens in.
Every episode there should be a conspiracy of the month.
No.
Conspiracy of the month. Well, there's enough, and there's enough to fill one per episode at least.
Between you two,
I think it's funny you mention that, Dave, though, because we can probably go, yes, there's some humor and like what's the funny ones, but also there's going to be some interesting thought principles behind each and every one that has theological implications, that have cultural implications, and so this will not be a full conspiracy podcast, but we might dabble.
Here's the thing: we probably all are conspiracy theorists. We all are. Let's be honest. We all are, but different. Like I totally don't go to any of them. We're not talking about it now.
Can we dabble?
No.
The squirrels. Shoot the squirrels, Dave. Shoot the squirrels.
Can we dabble?
I want us to stay far away from Dave's conspiracies and actually some of yours, Jack. I think
please.
Conspiracies are rubbish. I think
his moon landing questions are legit.
Don't even go there. Stop it.
My conspiracies are simply a product of you both, really.
No, I'm not going to be blamed for that.
Who's Justin Trudeau's father?
Stop it. I said stop.
So I'm curious also what you're reading, what you're listening, what we're reading, what we're listening to. I think that'll be fun to unpack. I often am amused at when books and readings come up in our DMs that Dave, you go silent. And it's usually Rebecca and I talking about dead people. What's the go there? Dave, can you read, firstly? And do you read, secondly?
I do struggle with the whole concept, actually. Anything
you do read.
Anything more than monosyllabic, and I'm really struggling. I've been really working hard to increase my metalinguistic awareness recently. No, I can read.
Good.
I was actually a child genius, but absolutely bored and not stretched, and so I tapped out of anything academic at a very early age. I was way too ahead, but I didn't have the maturity to be, and it wasn't a system that could have stretched me in a very small school. And so they did their best, but I just tapped out.
Are you blaming this? Are you blaming the system?
He definitely blames the system.
On many levels. Would you like me to tell you all the victim boxes I tick?
Right.
No. Everyone did their best, but I was a difficult child, and my mother told me recently they would have diagnosed you with a whole bunch of things, including ADHD, and tried to drug me up to the eyeballs if I was growing up in today's society. I'm glad they didn't, because
Yeah.
in behind every problem, there's a genius. The underside of every every benefit, there's an underside and a difficulty to manage. And so my job is to manage that. And so I don't enjoy study. I don't enjoy reading. It is a labor of love.
You do it.
I've got ways of getting information
discipline.
in. I do a lot of audio, books and podcasts. I've got people that stretch my thinking and challenge my thinking. And when I look to get content in that's going to grow me, there are a couple of books I go back to every single year. And some of them are deeply spiritual. There's a book called The Praying Life by Miller, which is just life-changing, absolutely life-changing in regards to prayer and my life with God. But then there's also management books, because I'm trying to run an organization. I don't find the running of an organization out of the gate a sweet spot for me. So I've got to really build those things and remind myself to do things well. So I do it. And I'm up on everything.
Yes.
But anything remotely smelling academic bores me. Like I'm just bored.
So that's where you go quiet in the DMs.
And I read it and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I have anything to add apart from shredding you both. Like, that's what I normally would do. I would pop in something. I'm up and across it. And if I disagree, I'll mention it. If I'm agreeing, I'll probably say nothing. If I've got something to challenge or shred or poke fun, you'll hear from me at that point.
That's fair.
It certainly does not light up my boards.
Yeah, which is good, right? It's different for everyone. I think I'm also interested in, particularly your perspective, Dave, on some of the more meta things happening around Good Life. What's the current series we're doing? Why we're doing that? Explaining what's going on behind the scenes, and sometimes on Sunday we don't have the time nor inclination to unpack the specifics. But I know that though sometimes things seem like they're slapped together, they're very deliberate, very well thought out.
Yes.
And I think this gives us a bit of space to unpack that for the rest of our church, for other Goodlifers, to go, this is why we do what we do. This is the heartbeat behind what you see and experience and participate in on a Sunday. There's a reason for that. And not just Sundays, of course, across our church.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. I like it. Well,
there is a lot of method to the madness, and so there's a lot of prayer and thought and planning and advice. We're getting mentored on how to actually lead more people to Jesus and help more Jesus followers grow as disciples in a range of different ways. And so all of the things that we do are very well thought out. I don't think that spontaneity on a Sunday equals the Holy Ghost is moving. I don't equate those two things. I think if God wants to move on a Sunday and do something, I'm open to it. I've had several times where I've thrown the righto, we just have to let God do what he's doing, and I didn't see it coming. But then again, I'll go, why in prayer this week did I not pick up what God was going to do? Like, that's, I think when I'm prepping, when I'm praying, when I'm spending time leading into a series or a service, I want to hear what God's doing, and I want to deliver it. So everything that comes off a Good Life platform should be, and we're aiming at that, should be sharp. It should be straight from what God is saying for the now and leading us into our future. Prophetic in nature, but really well crafted to gather more people to be able to access it. And so there's a lot of method to the madness, and there's a lot of word and spirit behind every part of every meeting.
I like it. I want to keep some of these short, sharp, and shiny as well. So, any parting thoughts, Rebecca? Parting wisdom?
Have no wisdom. No, that's not true. I think this is going to be fun. I think, yes, true. I think it's going to be a podcast that's possibly not easily pigeonholed, because I think we are going to cover a lot of different things. I think it's going to have a few different flavours. I feel like you want to
I was just going to say, therefore, let's call it the third wheel, because you can't pigeonhole it. It's the third wheel podcast.
I'm sure we can think of a name.
No, that's the winner. Trust me, I know these things.
I never trust you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say because he's interrupted me.
No, you didn't have anything anyway. My parting words of wisdom is never be ashamed of dental hygiene.
Oh yes. Look, you'll be proud of me then, Dave. I've got my toothpicker here.
Yeah, well,
always ready to go. And how about this? Xylitol chewing gum. For those watching, you can get xylitol gum. So if we want to talk conspiracies and rabbit holes, the fluoride water toothpaste one is one we can really go down. And xylitol isn't as good as hydroxyapatite. However, xylitol and sorbitol are just as good for the remineralization of your pearly whites. Rebecca, what have you got for us?
I've got a whole box.
Yes.
Saving the planet one flossing session at a time.
Plant-based candle made from certified biodegradable materials infused with activated charcoal.
Oh, wow. There you go. So, yes. Well, look into the hydroxyapatite toothpaste. That'll excite you. Hey, I think my child's waking up. The doorbell's ringing. The dog's barking. We're going to park it there. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode.
Peace.
Bye.